As the season of giving begins, many of us feel inspired to support charities and causes close to our hearts. But with so many options, how can you ensure your donations make an impact? We offer you tips on giving safely and wisely to trusted charities. Joining us now is Charity Navigator CEO Michael Thatcher. Michael, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
So a lot of us are in the giving spirit at this time of year. How does one know that the charity that we're thinking about donating to is reputable, is reliable, is responsible? Where do we start?
One of the easiest ways to start is, first of all, is it a charity? And know that they are actually a legally registered 501c3 charity, which is what the IRS code is. Simplest ways to do that is come to a site like Charity Navigator and put the organization's name in our search bar, and they'll come back and they'll be rated, they won't be rated. But if they don't come back and you don't find them, that may mean that they're not actually a legally registered charity. They might be something else.
So since you bring it up, a lot of us get invitations, on social media for a giving campaign. How do we even get a sense of whether the stories that we're hearing about, maybe somebody lost a loved one, how do we even get a sense of whether those are legit stories?
It can be more safer, I would say more reasonable, to go to a known charity for your giving, particularly when let's say we're wanting to do something with regard to a disaster that's just happened. There are going to be a lot of people that are affected, but there are also going to be a lot of very reputable organizations that are engaging in the disaster recovery process. And if you don't know the individual, I would go to a legitimate nonprofit in those cases.
So a lot of folks have a cause that's really important to their lives. And if we have a cause, let's say, in mind where we want to give, how do we, figure out which is the best charity to serve that cause?
It's a great question, and I think that's always the starting place in our giving, is that we're affected by a cause. It either makes us where it makes us happy, makes us sad, makes us angry. We want to do something. Take that energy and then actually find organizations that are doing that. So one, mission alignment. Does the mission of the organization and the work that they're doing align with your mission and your purpose around that cause? Using a platform like Charity Navigator can help you refine that further by actually saying, all right, these folks are doing it now, who's actually doing it well? And that's where ratings come in. And looking in the same way you would use a rating to find a restaurant, you can use ratings to find organizations to support.
Can you give us some red flags when we get a request to give to a particular charity? Any red flags out there that we should say, that may not be what it appears to be?
I think one of the red flags is when you're being rushed. Anybody who's really pressuring you and trying to get you to move fast, to pull out your credit card, slow them down. If they can't give you the name of the organization, and it's what we call an EIN number, which is the equivalent of a social security number, someone who works for an organization ought to be able to have access to that number. And that's one way of knowing it's a legitimate organization. The other area that people get scammed in is lookalikes. So the name is spelled a little bit differently, but it's not actually the nonprofit. It'll sound familiar, but it's not the right organization. Again, if you look them up, you can actually, even with the spelling they give you, if it comes out false, you're in a place you don't want to be.
There's so many great organizations doing great works in the charity nonprofit world. How critical is this time of year for them, and us digging a little bit deeper into our pockets to give at this time of year as far as their sort of overall budgets?
It's really, we call it the giving season, and that's basically the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, or Giving Tuesday, all the way through December 31st. It's when most nonprofits in the US receive 30 to 50% of their annual revenue. The sector's really counting on you. The folks that are serving the people that you care about, or taking care of animals, the environment, whatever it is you care about, now's the time when nonprofits need your support. They need it all year round, but given that this is a time when we generally are giving and we're also thinking about those that are less fortunate, now's a really good time to be generous.
Michael, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me here.